Ndị be anyị ekelere m unu. Asị m ka nke onye chiri ya zelu. Asị m unu ụtụtụ ọma, efie ọma, mgbede ọma, site n'ebe isi wee na-esore anyị n'ụbọchị nke taa na Eastern News 24. Anyị si na ọ ya dịrị onye ọbụla na mma, ka bụ ndị na-esore anyị n'elu akwụkwọ n'ihe anyị na-ebe dị iche iche. N'ụbọchị nke taa anyị si na ọ ya dịrị anyị Igbo na mma, na anyị adị ka echi na echi ede agwụ agwụ. Ife anyị na-akpọ ya bụ ife wetara n'ụbọchị nke taa bụ ife anyị na-akpọ ya bụ morning tea n'elu akwụkwọ. Ihe a bụ gbasịta maka ya bụ ihe na-eme na obodo anyị nọ n'ime ya, ana gbasịta maka nwere onwe ndị Igbo na-azọ. Dịka o si dị, o nwere ihe Biafran Prime Minister kwuru n'elu akwụkwọ nwetara unu kwunu ga ya bụ ife, unu ga-esi ya bụ ife na tinye alụ nke unu ife unu chedo gbasịta maka ihe ndị a niile o kwugasị n'elu akwụkwọ dị iche iche n'ụbọchị nke taa na morning tea. Dịka ị na-ege ya bụ ife, dropkwara your own comment n'elu akwụkwọ, ọ dịkwa nnukwu mkpa. All right, over to you, sir.
That our people are not living in IDP camp. Across Nigeria, every other region, people are living in IDP camp. Like they have come shambolically, claiming that people from the north will be moved to Biafra land, where Biafra forces and defense have been able to secure our land against the terrorism. We also have intel that the proposed movement of these people were actually in order to bring in Boko Haram fighters to Biafra land to fight against Biafra forces. My fellow Biafran, in Yoruba land, the Yorubas are taking refuge in neighboring country, Benin Republic, for insecurity by the Nigeria terrorism or Nigeria terrorist state in the name of the Islamic expansionist Usman Danfodio legacy. Many Yorubas are today living in Benin Republic. They left the ancestral land as they are looking for a safe place to stay. The people that have chased them out of the ancestral land are Fulanis. They call them Fulani herdsmen. They have occupied Yoruba land, and today many of them have left their land and they are not secured in their own land. Biafra land will not be the same. Biafra will continue to respond to Nigeria terrorism plan and tactics very ruthlessly in defense of our land. While Nigeria terrorist state have openly supported Palestine independence and continue to financially support terrorism against Israel, the Biafra people will continue to stand with Israel, and at the same time, we are not against those agitating for independence of South Palestine or for self-determination. But we are strongly against the terrorism against Israel and against the state of Israel. Nigeria always go to the United Nations General Assembly to advocate for the freedom and self-determination of Palestine, and these are people who have not fixed their own problem in Niger area. Today, we will do worse than what the Palestinians have done, if that is what will make the world to listen to us. Palestine have not lost 3 million children. We did. We lost 3 million children from 1967 to 1970. Palestine have not lost what Biafra lost. Palestine do not have what Biafra have. We power Nigeria's economy from our natural resources. What do we get in return? Marginalization, killing, pogroms, and what have you. On this note, just for the latecomers who have not followed the event of Nigeria and Biafra for a very long time, I want the Biafra media to play the representation and advocating of the independence of Palestine by the former president of Nigeria in the name of Muhammadu Buhari, because I have come across many people commenting on social media and they were outraged about the current vice president, who is, by the way, the founder of Boko Haram, advocating for independent state of Palestine. I would like the media team to play that, as on that particular rock, I will build my church today.
We need to remind ourselves of the principles that led to the founding of the United Nations. Among those are peaceful coexistence and self-determination of peoples. In this context, Mr. President, the unresolved question of self-determination for the Palestinian people and those of Western Sahara, both nations having been adjudged by the United Nations as qualifying for this inalienable right, must now be assured and fulfilled without any further delay or obstacle. The international community has come to pin its hopes on the resolving Palestinian issue through the two-state solution, which recognizes the legitimate right of each state to exist in peace and security. The world has no more excuses or reasons to delay the implementation of the long list of Security Council resolutions on this question. Neither do we have the moral right to deny any people their freedom or condemn them indefinitely to occupation and blockade.
Thank you very much. I would also like to have the latest video from the United Nations General Assembly of the current Vice President of Nigeria, who was the founder of Boko Haram. Thank you very much.
We are all witnesses to the heart-wrenching situation in Gaza and other Palestinian territories. We cannot discuss war and peace, conflicts and resolution, or humanitarian imperatives today without reflecting on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict that has been raging since 7th August last year. Of course, the conflict predates this period and has been simmering for a better part of half a century. What it tells us is that the international community has failed to live up to the spirit and aspirations of the United Nations to rid the world of inequality, violence, and domination of one people by another. Justice is antithetical to revenge. Freedom is an inalienable right and a natural entitlement that cannot be denied to any people. The Palestinian people deserve their independence. They deserve to have a home of their own in territories already recognized by this very assembly and by international law, which is being routinely ignored. Nigeria continues to urge efforts to bring back on track the two-state solution that offers the prospect for a new beginning for the region.
Thank you very much. My fellow Biafrans and listeners from across the world, with the clip you just listened to, the last one is the current Vice President of Nigeria, who is the founder of Boko Haram. The first video you listened to was the former President of Nigeria, who also was one of the Islamic fundamentalism pillar in Nigeria and in Africa. Nigeria, with this, has demonstrated to be enemy of America and enemy of the West. While the Biafra will continue to support the state of Israel, have you seen that this is a black and white that can never mix together? Nigeria have advocated for the independent state of Palestine, which we are not against as a people looking for freedom. But what we are against is terrorism against the state of Israel. And the 7th of October attack, terrorism attack against Israel, Biafra people continue to condemn that terrorist attack. Nigeria, having advocated in 2024 for the independent state of Palestine, should be bold enough to also accept the outcome of the Biafra self-referendum in peace or in pieces. I want you all to understand that Nigeria can never be trusted. America can never trust Nigeria. The West can never trust Nigeria. Nigeria remains an Islamic fundamentalist country that all the agenda is to support anything anti-West and anti-America. It does not matter how they pretend with you today, they will end up becoming your worst enemy. The earlier the world, the Western world and America accept the state of Biafra as only true allies in the West Africa, the better for them. Examples are many. I will use Iraq. I can also use Afghanistan. After 23 years, America pumped billions of dollars into Afghanistan. Today, Taliban are completely in charge of American weapons that America struggled for 23 years to stabilize that country. Nigeria will do worse than Afghanistan if Biafra is not supported. There are several compelling reasons why as many as 50 million Biafrans who voted in the ongoing Biafra self-referendum use their vote to advocate for independent state of Biafra. The reasons are very numerous. And I will take it one at a time. From the historical injustices against Biafra people, the Nigeria genocidal war against Biafra from 1967 to 1970, also known as the Biafra War, was a brutal chapter in Nigeria history. The eastern region, known as Biafra, declared independence as the Republic of Biafra after enduring many years of systematic marginalization and violent pogroms in the northern Nigeria and other parts of Nigeria. The war resulted in an estimated 1 to 3 million deaths, children, primarily from starvation due to the blockade imposed by the Nigeria terrorist government. This tragic history has left deep scars in millions of Biafrans and, of course, in Biafra consciousness, especially when the post-war reconciliation was superficial and incomplete. With the IRRR, the continuous reference of the Biafra War serves as a painful reminder that the Biafra people were once persecuted and betrayed by a country that was supposed to protect them. That betrayal has tripled today after over 50 years. We have seen the killings of Biafrans and destruction of their businesses across Nigeria, not just in the northern Nigeria today, but also in the southwest Yoruba land. In Lagos, to be precise, we saw pogroms against Biafrans in Lagos after 2023 election. And I will take it on the economic exploitation. As Nigeria celebrates their failed independence, the division of Nigeria into 6 geopolitical zones without the consent of the people was an injustice taken too far that have cut the wound of the war even deeper than as we thought. The eastern region, which is supposed to be called Southeastern or Southeast region, in accordance with the geography, today it is called the Southeast instead of the Southern region. They manipulated the geographic, manipulated the demography in order to fight the freedom and suppress and subjugate Biafra people not to rise up. The region which would form the heart of modern Biafra is rich in natural resources, particularly oil. Despite this wealth, the artificial and the fake Southeast feel disappropriately excluded from the economic and political benefit of their own land. The so-called Niger Delta, which majority falls within the proposed Biafra borders of today, generate a significant portion of the Nigeria wealth through crude oil. Yet, that region remains underdeveloped, suffering from poor infrastructure, environmental degradation, and poverty. Yet, they are faced with Nigeria terrorist army bombardment, like the recent killing in the Biafra Okoma community in Delta. The argument for Biafra is also an economic one. The resources of the Biafra people are being siphoned to enrich a far distant federal government in Abuja, while the region remains underdeveloped. That is coming to an end with the declaration of the restoration of independent state of Biafra, coming this year, 2024. My fellow Biafrans, we also suffered what I call the political marginalization within the Nigeria state. Since the end of the Biafra war, Biafra people have constantly been sidelined from the Nigeria political landscape, despite being one of the 3 largest ethnic groups. No Igbo-speaking Biafra person has held the presidency since 1983. Key government positions, security appointments, and the military leadership role are disproportionately skewed in favor of the Northern Hausa, Fulani, and Western Yoruba elites. Many Igbo-speaking Biafrans believe, and of course it's a fact, that this is a deliberate exclusion from power to prevent their voices from being heard in decision-making process. While those who happen to be very close to power have sold their subconsciousness to self-aggrandizement, those who may have positive agenda that could shape the country's future are not allowed. Today, we are no longer agitating for inclusion, but for complete freedom of Biafra people, where the aspiration of every Biafran will be achieved, where the potential will be attained, where Biafrans will compete among the nations in innovation, where free education will be mandatory, where our hospitals will be equipped, and the national insurance scheme will be completely functional. My fellow Biafrans, compelling reasons why Biafrans are leaving Nigeria are many. I'm just taking a few of them today. We have also cultural and ethnic disparities. Nigeria is an amalgamation of hundreds of ethnic groups with distinct cultures, languages, and worldviews. Biafrans, with their entrepreneurial spirit, democratic social structure, and emphasis on individual merit, often found themselves at odds with the more hierarchical feudal system, and I call it nomadic system of the North, and the communal political structure of the Yoruba West. Many believe that the deep-seated differences between the ethnic groups in Nigeria makes it difficult to forge a cohesive national identity, which is fact, leading to continuous frictions and disharmony, and I call it dangerous diversity, which will never ever work in the modern age. Biafra, on the other hand, would allow the people to govern themselves according to their own culture and cultural value and system in a confederation and a confederating state of Biafra. The insecurity and violence orchestrated by the Nigeria terrorist state against Biafra people from inception. Ethnic violence, Islamic expansionist violence, banditry, and terrorism have been on the rise across Nigeria, with the Biafra people often caught in the crossfire. In particular, they come in the form of Boko Haram, Fulani herdsmen, and other extremist groups. They have targeted civilians, with the government sometimes supporting them to offer adequate protection. In many cases, the Biafra people are specifically victimized, with the Nigeria state either unwilling or unable to ensure their security. The renewed call for Biafra is rooted in the fact that an independent state of Biafra would be better equipped to secure the lives and property of its citizens, free from corruption and inefficiencies of the Nigeria terrorist government. I want to remind you that a few years ago, heads were being beheaded in Biafra land. Today, that particular insecurity killings of Biafra have ended with the emergence of the Biafra Defense Force. And of course, with the formation of the Biafra government, both de facto government and government in exile. We are also facing, within the Nigeria state, youth unemployment and economic stagnation. The Biafra people are renewed for their entrepreneurial prowess, with successful business ventures both within Nigeria and across the world. Despite this, many young Biafrans face a high level of unemployment and underemployment. The Nigeria terrorist government inability to create an enabling environment for business growth and industrialization disproportionately affect the Southeast and South-South, which made up the entire Biafra land. The region, poor infrastructure, including electricity, road, education, hinders the full realization of the economic potential of Biafra people. An independent state of Biafra will prioritize regional development, focusing on innovation, trade, and infrastructure, uncumbered by the inefficiencies of the central government. Biafra, as an independent nation, will secure the Gulf of Guinea and, of course, end the piracy in the high sea, which has caused serious tension, carrying out international trade using the high sea and waterways. The emergence of Biafra will put an end to the piracy in the high sea. I want you to understand that the more you try to deprive yourself of this truth, the more you are caught in the cobweb of the truth. The resurgence of ethnic nationalism in Nigeria. We have seen in recent time the resurgence of ethnic nationalism caused by the dangerous diversity. Example of it, if you go to social media, you're going to find out there is a very big resurgence of ethnic nationalism. Our sister, for example, in Canada, her case is an example of that. Nigeria swing into action within 1 minute, writing to Canadian government, the House of Assembly or House of Rep wrote a letter within short period of time. Yorubas on social media, of course, because she is a Biafran. In recent years, the global climate has become more supportive of self-determination and the secessionist movement. From the independence referenda in Scotland, even in Catalonia, though they are not yet independent, for the creation of this awareness in support of self-referendum has gained global support. My fellow Biafrans, we have seen the state creation like the state of Sudan, South Sudan. There is a growing recognition that ethnic groups have right to determine their own future, just like you listened from the Nigeria representative at the United Nations, the current vice president of Nigeria, supporting this particular move. The Biafra government has also continued to argue in international stage that the right to self-determination is enshrined in international law, and the Biafra people have also activated this particular law by organizing their own self-referendum, which Biafra people are very happy to participate in and have voted, and the voting is still ongoing and will continue until November 28, 2024. The opportunity to vote on their future through a peaceful and democratic process organized by the Biafra government in exile and the de facto government in the homeland. The referendum has recorded over 50 million votes as of today, 1st of October 2024. My fellow Biafrans, I want you to understand that the call for Biafra independence is not a rejection of Nigeria or a rejection of Britain, but it is a demand for justice, dignity, and equality. For many Biafrans, remaining in a system that continually marginalizes, exploits, and devalues them is untenable. Biafra offers the promise of self-determination, economic progress, cultural preservation, and security of a nation where the Biafra spirit can strive without the constraint of a broken federation. While the road to Biafra independence is fraught with challenges, the desire for a better, more equitable future fuels the call for the exit of Biafra from Nigeria. And Simon EKPA is leading Biafra out of Nigeria from the 2nd of December 2024. Biafra government has activated international diplomatic tussle against Nigeria at the highest level. My fellow Biafrans, with this, I welcome you to the month of October 2024. We have just less than 2 months to kickstart our convention in Finland. May God bless the state of Biafra. May God bless the state of Israel. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless Finland, and may God bless Europe. May God bless the Western world. We love you all. From Biafra people, from the Biafra Liberation Army, from the Biafra government, to all of you. We stand together in this particular time of trial. Israel, stand very strong. You have your brothers from Biafra land, and nothing can separate us. From here, from me, airborne to the Biafra Defense Forces, airborne to the IDF, airborne to those who believe that freedom is taken and not given. May God bless you. May God bless Biafra.
Ebomana egente daluli ne no umu ife kunu si wene sola ni do akwụkwọ na Eastern News 24 n'ụbọchị nketa anyị na-akpọ ya morning tea. Unu anụgonu ya bụ ife mgbakọrịta ụka ya bụ ife Maazị Simon EKPA bụ Biafran Prime Minister or Biafran Public Government in exile. Dịka o si dị n'afọ o si ada n'iru akwụkwọ. Gịnị ka i nwere ikwu gbasata maka ya bụ ife ndị a niile kwugasị n'iru akwụkwọ dị iche iche dropụla ya on the comment section below. Ọzọ dịkwa ka ibe ya bụ na nke a bụ ụbọchị izizi gị na-esonyere anyị n'iru akwụkwọ, onye na-afụ ya bụ ihe onyonyo anyị kaba alụ ka ị like ya and turn on notification, share kwa ka o wetakwa ndị ọzọ ụmụnne anyị ndị n'ebe dị iche iche aka. Daalụ nne n'Igbo ma na-ege ntị. Oge na-adịrị anya onye ndu ya pụta n'ụlọ mkpọrọ. Ka emesịanụ.